Hello everybody! So in November, when I didn't make any videos at all because I was super busy, I was actually traveling around to a few different places and spending time with family. And one of the places that I went to for a variety of reasons was Malta. And that might seem like a really random place to visit. It kind of is. Anyway, I got there and I went straight to the hotel and I fell asleep because international travel is a whole lot of fun. And I got up the next day and I did some work stuff and some school stuff, and as soon as I got back from doing that, I went out and I tried to figure out what there was exactly to do in this country that I'd never heard of before. And yeah. So I walked outside of my hotel, and right outside of my hotel was actually a bay area. I guess it's a bay. And there was a line of boats. And so I decided that it would be really cool, because they were offering, to take a boat tour. So I paid them a few euros and I got on a boat and I took a tour around the different areas of Malta. The boat tour that I took left from where my hotel was in a place called Salima, and right across the bay was Valletta, which is the capital of Malta, and it took us in and around this island there and into some harbors, and we looked at those and it was neat. And I noticed that on this trip they pointed out a lot of old hospitals, which is kind of interesting that it's such a small country and there are such a large volume of old hospitals. But in the middle of the Bay Area there was one particular island, and it used to be the quarantine hospital. And it was interesting to kind of drive by a place that at one point in time no one in their right mind would want to set foot on, just because of leprosy or tuberculosis or the disease that was there at the time. We continued on our little tour. We got to see a lighthouse and some big ships and kind of the coastline a little bit of Malta, as well as kind of the Valletta area. And that tour probably lasted maybe, I don't know, an hour or two. And it went back to Salima right where I'd got the boat, and I got off. Yeah, so I wanted to go over to Valletta and I wanted to see it, so I ended up finding a water taxi, which left every 10 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever, and I took a water taxi across from Salima to Valletta and kind of did that, yeah. The one thing that I did get to go see, and I'm really happy that I had time for it, was St. John's Cathedral. And St. John's Cathedral seems to be located quite centrally inside of Valletta, and I could actually see it from my hotel over in Salima, and it has a big dome tower thing, and yeah. So I went and I paid for my admission to go in there, and it was probably one of the coolest cathedrals that I've ever been in. Definitely has a lot of history, and it has like earphones that they give you that you can walk around and you can hear about all the history of the different sections of the cathedral as you go, and I did that, and I don't remember what I learned, but it was really interesting when I did it, and I would highly recommend it to anyone who happens to be going to Malta for whatever reason. One of the parts that was really interesting that I thought was cool was they have, well, the Knights of Malta, the Maltese Knights, were apparently very famous and popular, I guess. And most of them seem to be buried right underneath of the tiles in the church there, and they have their tombstones actually in the cathedral, like as the floor. Like the floor tiles are the tombstones, and it has their names and I guess their date of birth, their date of death, and like I guess a quote or a little picture or stuff like that. And that was really interesting to kind of go around and read those different sort of things. Anyway, I took lots of pictures of the place because it was awesome. And then I headed back to the ferry, and I took the ferry back to Salima where I was staying. And on the crossing back over to Salima, there was the most gorgeous sunset I probably have ever seen. The landscape in Malta is very, I don't know, there's a lot of buildings and cliffs, and the buildings are all kind of like a sandstone sort of building, I'm not really sure. Anyway, it looks really, really neat when the sun is setting, and the crossing back was amazing. So yeah, after that I kind of just went and ate dinner and had spaghetti because I figured I was so close to Italy they ought to have very good spaghetti there. It wasn't very good at all. Apparently I should have went for seafood. And the next day I got up really early and I left and I flew back to Poland. So I was there for one whole day plus few hours the day before and the day after, which is why I hadn't vlogged about this up until now. So yeah, that's my trip to Malta. I kind of like to go back though. I have a feeling that they have like nice beaches and stuff, probably pretty good scuba diving. Maybe one day. Anyway, that is it for this vlog. Make sure that you thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment box below if you have any questions or requests or anything that you want to say. Be nice though. Yeah, okay. I'll see you next time. Bye! And excuse me for a moment while I go pick up everything that just fell off my shelf.